There we go. Good evening. I would like to call to order the Newcastle Community Activities Commission meeting of July 12th. I am Vice Chair Nathan Sticks. The time is 7 o'clock. This public meeting is being recorded and may be viewed later on the city's YouTube channel. Can everybody please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. So this evening, we have the honor of having Jane, our city clerk, swear in two of our new commissioners, Connie Forberg and Allison Lee. So we are going to proceed with the swearing in ceremony.
Of the state of Washington and of the United States of America, and uphold the Newcastle Municipal Code and all other legal enactments of the city of Newcastle. There you have it. You're in. That is hard. I tried to break it down. Now you can have your seat. Yeah. You passed test one.
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you, Jane. And Jane, would you please do the roll call?
Commissioner Forsberg.
Here.
Commissioner Van Hatta.
Present.
Commissioner Lee.
Present.
Commissioner D'Souza. Commissioner George.
Present.
Commissioner Flash.
I am here.
And Acting Chair Sticks.
Present. Video. Okay, thank you. So before we do an agenda approval, I do have an addendum to our agenda since we have a full commission tonight, and I would like to add to the agenda that we do the elections this evening to elect a chair and vice chair. Is everybody in agreement with that? Okay. So at this time, we're actually going to do the elections for chair and vice chair. Jane, do you want me to tell them how, or do you want to go over what we talked about?
Turn on my mic here. Good evening, Commission. To elected chair and a vice chair, it will be a simple, I move to appoint name to the position of chair. Then it would be someone would second, and then all in favor, please say this, yes, or no, it'll get recorded. And then we'll repeat that same process with the vice chair. So it'll be two separate motions, two separate votes, two separate everything. And I hope that makes sense. And I don't mind, if there is a motion on the floor for the council, I don't mind help, Chair Sticks, if you need help making sure that we call that out properly. I'm here for a reason. So anyway, so it would just take a simple motion, second vote of the council.
Okay, so let's have chair first.
I move to elect I move to elect Nathan Sticks as the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Who was the second on that?
Kim.
All right. We'll repeat that same process for the vice chair.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Ed Flash as our vice chair.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
It's unanimous. Congratulations to our chair and vice chair. Okay, so with that, is there any objection to approval of tonight's agenda as presented? Very good. If not, please show the final agenda as approved as presented. And then approval of the minutes. Is there any objection to approval of the minutes of May 10th and June 14th as presented? None? If not, show the minutes approved as presented. Okay, Jane, do we have any public comment?
No comments.
No public comment, okay. Next, we have our commissioners' comments and celebrations, and I'd like to actually start by saying first, I apologize to Deb Paulson for last month, not actually having said thank you for all your years of service as a volunteer with the City of Newcastle and as a commissioner on the CAC. We so appreciate all your hard work, all your I would say all of your coaching to all of us on how to plan events and execute events and run events and follow through and have recaps of events. So we just want to say thank you for all your years of volunteering with us. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Flash.
So I have a request. It seems like I'm always the one to start. Can we mix it up a little bit?
And we'll start that right now. So Commissioner D'Souza, you want to start tonight?
I just want to say the fireworks were awesome. I thought it was an awesome turnout, and thanks, Deb. Put on an awesome event, so it was really cool. Thank you.
Commissioner George?
Thank you, Chair Sticks and Vice Chair Flash. I would also like to thank the city staff for a great 4th of July. We caught the tail end of the fireworks coming back from the Sounders game, and it was pretty fantastic to not only see the show at the end and how fantastic it looked, but to see how many people were there. They were parked well into the Olympus neighborhood. Almost nearly, for those of you who know where I live, nearly all the way to my street, which is pretty far in. So great turnout, Deb for pulling it together so amazingly well, and Connor and his team for being there on site and keeping it running well. It was pretty fantastic to see, and I'm looking forward to more events like this as the summer concert series comes up.
Commissioner Van Atta?
Same. 4th was great. I actually received a lot of feedback from residents that, well, the first on the 4th, or the 4th on the 1st.
Or is it coining it the Firth?
The Firth, yeah.
Firth.
I like that. Several Newcastle residents that I talked to liked it also, that it was on a Saturday and it made it so you didn't have to get up early the next morning. And so something to consider.
And so to our new commissioners, what we do every meeting is it could be a celebration or a comment or a compliment of any type about anything. So Commissioner Lee?
I'm going to jump on the bandwagon of the fireworks celebration. I live in Olympus also. Saw cars parked all the way back to 127th Avenue and past, further west. I myself just walked around the corner and watched the fireworks from 128th and Southeast 80th Way. So it was perfect. I was just really pleased, especially besides with the attendance or evident attendance, with how long it was. I texted somebody and said, we're 18 minutes in, and it went for another 3 or 4 minutes. So that was really, really great. Thank you.
Commissioner Forberg.
Yes, I will keep the same theme. I also attended the July 1st, 4th of July celebration. It was my first Newcastle event that I've attended, so that was a lot of fun for us, being new to the neighborhood, having young kids with us as well. I would say that having it on a Saturday was awesome, because then no school or camp or whatever the next day is nice. But yeah, we loved it. Turnout was wild. I was not expecting that. The playgrounds were like overrun with children, but that's exciting, and everybody seemed to have a great time.
Thank you. And I would like to congratulate our 2 new commissioners and welcome you to the CAC, and how honored I am to have been elected your chair. And to Ed, congratulations on vice chair. We're going to continue to do great things, and it's an honor to have a full commission again. And as we move forward, and I guess as we're looking towards the future of getting a new events coordinator at some point this fall, we know that Deb will do a great job in kind of handing things over when we get a new coordinator hired. So looking forward to that. So thank you. Okay.
So hold on, I do have comments.
Oh, sorry.
I just didn't want to go first.
Ed, you threw me completely off my, okay. Commissioner Flash.
Thank you. Nathan, congratulations on becoming chair. Well deserved, and I'm looking forward to working with you over the next period of time, however long that is. I think we're going to make a really great team and take the city of Newcastle to new heights. Connie, Allison, welcome. This is a totally fun group. We get to do the fun job at the city, and that is planning activities and events and things like that. So it's enjoyable, and the sky's the limit. So please, dig in, give it your all. You're here to support the city, and please feel like you can do that in any way you possibly can. Reiterating the same thing on the first, I got some great feedback from folks. And Deb, are we doing a debrief of the event, or how do you want feedback from us?
There it goes. Connor and Jeff and I met earlier this week, so if you want me to set up a meeting with anybody who wants to give feedback, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay. Or should we just send it to you?
Yeah, just send it to me, that would be great.
Because I'm sure all of us have talked to citizens that have some suggestions.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So we'll want to get that to you. And then lastly, on a personal note, I'm looking forward to having my whole family together, hopefully next week. I was originally not going to be here this week, but my wife had to fly to LA to deal with her mom, who is in the hospital. Hopefully my kids are planning on coming back next week, which will be the first time in a while that they'll be together. But then my son, who just took a job in South Carolina, so he's going to be moving away to pursue his dream as a photojournalist for a newspaper there. So, yeah. Looking forward to the concerts and the rest of the summer. So thank you all for your involvement.
Yeah, just noticed the concert banner went up. It looks great on Coal Creek, yeah. Okay, let's turn it over to the report section and community events report. Deb.
All right, so I just wanted to start out with the 4th of July. I've heard great comments from so many people about the event, as you guys have too. A few success stories I wanted to share. Connor said people started lining up at about 3 o'clock for food. So people were in the park waiting for the food trucks at 3 o'clock, and they weren't even ready to go until 6. Ed had said that from 6 when they opened till about 8:30 or 9, the food vendors were stacked. So that's really great news. We had nine food vendors there, and I was super nervous that that was way too many, and they weren't going to make money and never want to come back. So one of them said they made more cash that night than ever. So I think next year we should bring that many back, if not more. Also, just one other quick success story. The Boy Scouts sold their glow sticks, and they covered their summer scholarship fund with just this event. So that was really awesome. And they're ready to move next year and want to be more involved. They want 2 tables next year. So that's cool. I had great comments as usual for the band, except for I think it confused a lot of people that they played a little bit long. So we'll get on top of that next year and make sure they stop at 10 and the fireworks start, as that is what people were expecting. Thanks to Shally for working the table, the city booth table. That was really helpful. Jeff broke his hand, so he was supposed to be the person on site there that day, and he broke his hand, so he wasn't there. So next time you see Connor, give him a huge shout out because he ran that event the day of. So that was really awesome. So that's 4th of July. As far as concerts, we're ready to go with our first concert on July 26th. We have the Randy Lindner Band, which is a CCR tribute. We've never had this band in Newcastle, so I'm really excited to hear them. I do have the sign-up booth for the concerts in the park, and we just have 2 spots left. This is for the city booth. It's usually manned by the CAC, but a little secret. The planning team here at the city wants to be at our table too. They want to do their outreach regarding their comp plans. So if we could, the people who sign up for the table could just check every once in a while. I think it'll be well manned by the planning commission. But just check back and make sure everything's okay and nobody has any questions. The last thing is Newcastle Days. I'm going to let Amy give you updates on that. But Amy, I'm going to steal a little bit of your thunder and talk about 2 big things this year. So the car show is back. The people planning the car show expect to have about 100 cars there, which is super cool. I'm kind of worried we can't fit them all, but they said we have in the past. And then Amy, Ed, and I have been doing a lot of planning on this, and we're adding an art fair this year for Newcastle Days. So we're going to have about 30 new vendors on the tennis courts selling handcrafts in their art fair, their art goods. So that's super exciting. Great new addition to Newcastle Days this year. The thing that I specifically wanted to ask is subcommittees. I know that marketing and volunteers specifically. I'd like to, after the meeting, see if we can find times to get together to start talking about those things.
So I have a question about the tennis courts and having an art fair. Do we have enough tents?
They will bring their own tents.
They will bring their own, okay, because I know it's going to be probably hot. And I'm just thinking about the tennis court surface. Okay, good.
Yeah, they're bringing, the instructions were we're providing you a 10 by 10 space and everything else is up to you.
We can, and I can look at getting some misters as well, honestly, if it's really hot.
Yeah, we just need to make sure where we put those because we don't want to mess up anybody's.
Yeah.
Don't miss any watercolor work.
We made a note in the retrospective, Deb, that we should have a hot weather plan and a cold weather plan and consider, renting misters for the hot weather plan and maybe figuring out which animals come. And then the cold weather plan, I'm not quite sure what that would be, but.
Because, oh my God, do you guys remember in like 2017, it was like 40 degrees. It was terrible. But okay, that's all I have today. Are there any questions for the summer events?
No, just what a fabulous job you've been doing, so thank you.
Thank you.
Ed, Newcastle Arts Council. Well, we can add your report, Amy, because I didn't think you were going to be here tonight, so we can put the.
Under general business.
Oh, for the Newcastle, I was thinking about chamber, sorry.
Oh, I don't have anything.
Okay, cool.
Okay, busy times as usual. We did a mafia murder mystery party at the library in June. There were 50 people that showed up. Total fun. I would highly recommend anybody doing it next year if we do it again. People were super engaged, dressed up in costumes from the Roaring '20s. And we had a couple of actors, but then they engaged the groups. Everybody a lot of people had their own part to play. Very, very, very fun event. So if you have never experienced one of those before and we do it again, I would highly recommend you come. We were at the 4th of July as well and raised a bunch of money for the Newcastle Arts Council, so thank you for letting us be there. Totally successful. We actually would have raised more, except that our Square account during the evening stopped working because we couldn't get internet access there. I think there were so many people in the park that were tapping into the networks that we lost that. So we had to send people away, unfortunately. But yeah, anyways. So big week. Tomorrow, I expect to see everybody at Frosty Barrel. A portion of the proceeds from the sales at Frosty Barrel tomorrow go to the Newcastle Arts Council. So stop by and take part and get some great ice cream, support a local business, and support the Newcastle Arts Council. And then on the weekend, on Saturday, we have our annual art fair at the Newcastle Commons as well. If anybody is interested in volunteering, we could still use some help. But we're going to have music and some food trucks and food vendors and over 40, probably, I think that's the count, art vendors are going to be there selling their creativity. So come by from 10 to 5. And again, if you're interested in helping out, we could use some help all throughout the day doing various things. There'll be fun for the kids and again, music and food and lots of art. Then we have a bunch of events coming up, actually a couple that have already sold out, so I'm probably not going to mention them. Our other thing to highlight is our fall art exhibition that we're doing in September that we do every year. I think this is the 6th year that we've done this, looking for people to submit artwork. So if you know anyone, please pass the word around. For that, the deadline is the 15th, so that's Saturday. And then moving way forward, we have starting the work for our Songs of the Seasons concert in December, which is a collaboration with Newcastle Elementary. Liberty High School will probably be there this year and some of the other local schools. And then kind of on a programming, or non-programming front, we replaced the rocks in the rock garden at City Hall, so go check that out. If anybody has any additional rocks that they want to place there, please feel free to do that. We are well on our way to in the utility box project. So we had 16 applications that came in. We met last week, identified an artist, which we're now going to be working with to do a design. The whole idea behind it was, or the request of the artist, their submissions was to create something that would highlight Lake Bourne Park and encourage people to go to Lake Bourne Park. So we've picked an artist and we're going to be working with them on a design for that. We have a little art gallery that's going to go up, yet to be determined what neighborhood, but that's being finalized. And so that'll be a fun little project, kind of like the little libraries, but this is specifically for art. So people can leave art there, people can take art, they can leave supplies there, they can take supplies, and hopefully encourage more art in the community. And that is it with the Arts Council. So thank you for all your support.
Okay, thank you, Ed. And Amy, you say no updates for the chamber? Okay. So we'll go on next to general business and update Newcastle Days working committees. And is that going to be you, Amy?
That is going to be me. So I'll do a little bit of a deeper dive into where we are with Newcastle Days. So the activities are all lined up, and as Deb highlighted, we have the car show coming back and we have the art fair happening, and we've had a very good response, very positive response to Ed's inquiries for the art fair. So where we might have been, reluctant to, try something new because we weren't sure of the response, so far it looks really good. So I'm hopeful that we have solved the issue of what to do with the tennis courts, because it's a great space.
I looked right before the meeting, and Ed sent out the art fair sign-up form on Saturday night late, and we have 17 people signed up already.
That's outstanding. And then all your favorite Newcastle Days activities are back. The pony rides are back. The scouts are doing something fun. We have all the trucks coming back. The hydroplanes coming back. So all the fun stuff is coming back, as well as the car show and the art fair. Deb has been working hard to line up stage entertainment, and we are full. And we, And that we had just a overwhelming response to people interested in performing. We have both high school drill teams. We have Liberty Cheer. We have the Hazen Choir singing the national anthem, and then the Hazen Band is bringing their entire 80-piece band to perform as well, the Hazen Marching Band. So that's pretty exciting. That will help with the parade. We have dance studios. We have young, old, all sorts of performances. The Japanese drummers are coming back. So the stage is full. And then it will end with Cherry Cherry. One note to the CAC, Nathan has volunteered to serve Salute as stage director for half a day, and I will fill in for the other half a day if we're not able to get anybody else. But we are gonna need an assistant, so, keep your eyes peeled, your ears open for folks who would be really good to help out at the stage. Because that's a place where you are at and you are very busy, getting people on and off the stage in a timely fashion.
And with that, Amy, are we going to have more radios this year? Because that was our biggest kind of opportunity the past couple of years, is being able to communicate things
Yeah.
between us.
So Connor was able to find a place. I'll check with him, but for 4th of July, they had plenty radios. So hopefully
Okay.
for Newcastle Days, it shouldn't be an issue, but it's on my list of things to work with Connor on.
The vendor booths, they are coming in and then some. Where we thought we might have to hit the pavement, recruiting, we do not. And we've done, because we got a bit of a late start this year, we have not done as much outreach as we have done in years past. And booths are not going to be an issue. So the good news is that Ed and Connie have signed up for booths, have also signed up for the week of celebration. So where we don't have as much work to do on the booths, although Ed's been doing a lot of work with the art fair, we do need to start thinking about week of celebration and what that might look like. So if the two of you could stay after and we could try to pick a time to meet and talk about that, that would be terrific. Deb has asked for marketing and promo and volunteers. So that's Shali, Kim, and Allison. If you could meet with Deb after the meeting to find a time to work on the things that she has for you. And the parade is just sort of wait for now, a hold and wait for now. And that's pretty much it with Newcastle Days. Are there questions, concerns, comments?
Do we have too many booths? Are we gonna have to send people away, or are we good for now?
The deadline is the end of the month. We are good for now, but there is a chance we will need a waiting list.
How
Or
many-
we'll have to make a decision.
And what's our goal? How many booths?
It is around 40. That does not include the food vendors, but we really have to take a look at the layout and see what can manage. But right now we're targeting 40. 40 on the grassy area.
Plus another 8 to 10 food vendors, so. And then just for, Amy, I think you know this, but I'm not sure, but for the week of celebration, we're gonna do a pickleball contest on Friday. And then, because Tony, is getting knee surgery, I think, they're gonna do the softball classic the 16th, the following Saturday. He'll be back up and running by then, literally.
Because he and I talked to us the other day, and he wants to be at Newcastle Days, so.
I talked to Tony today, and he's willing to MC a little bit, and I talked to him about doing videos for promotional stuff, and
Great.
he's all in, so.
Right.
Thanks, Deb. I didn't have those two in my notes. I mean, I have them in my notes, but not in my notes. So thank you for adding that in. And we have the art fair opening that month as well.
Just so you know, we may want to mark the tennis courts with markings for the booths. So that may disrupt the pickleball tournament. They may be playing with tape on the courts.
I think that'll be fine. I'll let
Okay.
the Scullies know. But we had talked, Ed, I think we had talked about just using painter tape and
Yeah.
using small things, so.
Exactly.
But I'll talk to Scullies
Okay,
about it.
just make sure that they know that may, I don't think it's gonna be any sort of big issue, but, so,
Wasn't the pickleball tournament the week bef, I mean, it's the week of, it's not the day of, right?
It's not the day of.
Right, but we would mark the tennis courts the day
The day
before.
before.
Yeah.
But I think the pickleball tournament is
You said Friday.
the day before.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, I'll listen better. Amy, thank you, good job. Appreciate you helping Deb with this whole Newcastle Days.
Don't say just helping. Amy's a superstar in all this.
Quick update for you guys on event sponsorships. So at the last minute, we got a request for a platinum sponsor, $5,000 sponsor, a company called All Building Services. And that took our total up to $49,500. So our goal was $58,000. As you know, as Amy just alluded to, we got a late start this year. So we're pretty darn close to getting to our goal, which was a lot more than we had anticipated being able to get. So that's all very good. Okay, any questions on sponsorships? Okay. So the next discussion is going to be committee reports expanded. And let me explain what we're looking at there. So part of what the CAC has a commitment to do is coordinating efforts to engage other committees, other activities in the city, and bringing that information back to our commission that can then be shared with City Council. And so for quite some time now, we've had no representation on Newcastle Trails, Historical Society. I've included as a possibility, but it's not necessarily in our mandate, but the Newcastle Library, YMCA, and then lastly, NICE. So NYCE is the Newcastle Youth Committee, and we're going to talk about that separately. But for tonight's discussion, Jane and I had a little talk about how do we best represent. We've got a few options. We can either assign folks to a particular committee on the commission, or somebody can simply volunteer. And what we're looking for would be reaching out to those like Newcastle Trails or Historical Society on a monthly basis, find out what's on their docket, what have they been reviewing, what events are coming up, so you can just bring that back and share it as a committee report. And so I think I wanted to first ask, are we all in agreement that we like those four, or do we only think that we need Newcastle Trails and Historical Society at this point? And Art Council's already handled because we have the president who sits right on our commission, so that was an easy decision. Amy?
I like all of those, and the Newcastle Library could also include our Friends of the Newcastle Library. I mean, they work closely with our library. When I came to the commission, I asked Patty if I could report from the chamber. I had served on the Newcastle Chamber Board. And really, for those of you thinking about doing one of these, it's quite simply, I email the president of the chamber shortly before the meeting, say, do you have anything for me?
And I should have added that, you're right, so we're missing the chamber from here and it should be here.
Oh, that's me. So, although someone else can take it, Verity's lovely to work with. And I just simply email them, do you have anything that you'd like me to share at commission? And they say yes or no. And then simply after the meeting, what I do is I provide a little write-up for Nathan. It's just a couple sentences, and that then goes into his notes that then go to the council. So then the council sees what's going on with these various different organizations. It's really, really quite straightforward.
So for our new commissioners, what Amy's talking about is after our meetings here, I put together some notes and I provide them to Jane, and Jane submits them to the council packets. So when the council gets their packets, they've got notes from the Planning Commission, notes from the CAC, and other organizations. So I'd like to ask your thoughts as far as getting any volunteers to sign up to take trails, Historical Society. We've got the library, Friends of Newcastle Library, and we're not looking at a lot of work. It's not a very big effort. It's literally reaching out to those organizations and finding out if they have any activities or events coming up that they would like to share with the city.
I'd be happy to contact a couple. I'd be happy to contact Trails. And I'd either Newcastle Library or Friends of the Library. I have a couple of friends that are involved in Friends of the Library. Yeah. Or if somebody else would like to do library, I'd take Historical Society too. I have recent experience with contacting them.
Let's start with one,
Oh.
and then
No, I just want to do them all.
you know, you're wanting to do a lot, and I appreciate that, but let's see if we can get some other commissioners to.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to take Trails.
Okay, Allison for Newcastle Trails. What about Historical Society? Anybody?
I can take on Y, and then Amy and I had talked about NICE a while back, but that will be separate. But I can take on the Y.
YMCA?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can provide the information for the Historical Society and the library. I mean, I'm happy to do them. I already do the chamber, but I can provide the right contact information for those other organizations, should anybody else be interested.
Okay. So Amy, I'll put you,
Likewise.
both of you?
No, I was gonna say, I don't want this to be an all-inclusive list. So if anybody has any other organizations that they think of that could be added to the list, the whole idea here is to promote what is happening that is open to the community in the city of Newcastle or in the surrounding areas. So if there's other organizations that people know about that, you know, that have events or have activities or have involvement that are community-based and open to the community, then by all means, let's make sure to include those on here. The YMCA, I think we need to be a little bit careful with them, only because I don't know if their events are inclusive of membership. Okay.
Well, that's why I was asking the question of the list. Did we feel we needed to include the YMCA, or are they, do they advertise enough of what is going on in their events that we don't necessarily have to have a report for what's going on at the Y?
Right, but I also think we need to be careful in that we need to be promoting events in the community, but my thought is that these should be events that are open to the community. And so if the YMCA is only limiting their events and their activities to their membership, then I'm not sure that's something that we want to be promoting or in this context.
Okay, so in recap, Newcastle Trails is Allison, Historical Society, Newcastle Library, Amy will
I'll take them unless somebody else wants.
get feedback unless someone else wants, okay? Shally will take YMCA, but only presenting events that are open to the public,
Yeah,
right? Arts Council will continue to be Ed, Chamber will be Amy, and Friends of Newcastle Library will also be Allison. Okay? So last is NICE, and Deb just emailed me earlier today about us getting NICE back up and running. So I've started that process already. I'm reaching out to some past commissioners to find out how they got that program up and going. Some of the homework that I've already been able to do is find information from the city website that mentions the Newcastle Library and the YMCA were advisors to the NICE organization. So I need to find out more information behind how that all comes together. So more to come on that. Kim?
It was, back in the Wayback Machine, it was Windy, YMCA, so the activities planner, YMCA, and the library, so the youth librarian. And they all collaborated to
Okay.
build, the NICE.
We'll talk we'll talk more. Okay. Because one of the things that we've, been talking about is getting NICE back up and running, because we get a lot of benefit of having high school kids. In the past, when I first joined the commission, we had two high school, I think a junior and a senior, one from Hazen, one from Liberty, that would come to our commission meetings every month, and they'd always have a report for us. And it was always very interesting to find out what the youth of of Newcastle were up to and some of the things that they were planning. And then when we had events coming up, of course, getting them involved and other volunteers involved from the high schools with like Newcastle Days and the concerts and fun things like that. So it'll be a good thing to get them back on board. And with that, let's see, agenda item number 10. Jane, do we have any additional public comment? Surprise. Okay. Agenda item number 11 is our planning calendar. So we do have an action item, a motion to reschedule our August 9th meeting to move it to August 10th as a special meeting. August 9th is our last concert, so we don't want to interfere with that, and we'd be moving our commission to a Thursday. And so there is an open motion to approve and move our meeting to the 10th. Do I have a second on that motion?
I second it.
Everybody approve?
Yes.
Okay. And we will meet at 6 p.m. instead of 7. And then I also have a motion to have Officer Treadway do a special training for the CAC. It'll take 2 hours. It'll be from 7 to 10 p.m. on, I believe it's called Active Threat Training. Active Threat Training. 7 to 9. That same day.
6 to 9.
So the whole meeting will be 6 to 9. Okay.
Now, will the training be recorded?
No, the training will not be streamed live to YouTube or recorded.
Okay, so Nathan and Deb know I won't be present at that meeting, so,
We'll get any information that we can share with you.
but that doesn't hold us up if I don't have the training.
No.
Okay.
No. And we thought August was the perfect time because we've got Newcastle Days coming up, and that's a big city event. It would have been nice to have this even before we did any events, but given the state of the union with some of the horrible incidences happening in our nation, it will help better prepare us if there were something to happen in what we can do to help law enforcement, help the public, help ourselves with safety. So I think it is a good thing. So I did not get a second to the motion to do the active threat training.
I second it.
All approved?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that. Does anybody else have anything additional they'd like to discuss? If not, I will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks.